Now this is a challenge. When they told me I had the opportunity to come up here and speak in front of the Lemonade ladies, I said, I would like to speak to you about why men are jerks. Somebody said, are you serious? Are you taking him a bodyguard or what? So I brought Matt with me. And he's the last vehicle on the exit line, so we can get out of here quick. Seriously, ladies, why are men jerks? Why are we jerks? You let us speak.
No.
I didn't say all the time. Never said that. You let us speak. You let us speak. And I'm seeing people go, not me. Yes, men are raised from childhood to be men. Don't you cry? Men don't cry. Don't you complain? Men don't complain. Don't. You be a man. Don't be a little girl. Who teaches us that?
Hopefully nobody anymore.
Often our mothers.
Mothers, older sisters. You've taught us this. Now how do we get out of this? How do we do that? We grow the hell up. That's how. We learn to appreciate, we learn to respect, and we learn to be considerate. That's something we have to do. We have to treat like we want to be treated. Are we jerks all the time? No. You're right, we're not. Can we be?
Yeah.
Yes. We all can. But so can the ladies. But the men, just think about this. The men have been trained for years to be so closed-minded. How many questions do the men ask a day? 5. How many questions do the men listen to from the women? 18. After 18 questions, the man says, I'm done. That's too many. That's too many. And they're overloading on all these questions. But why are women smarter than men? They have the better input. They ask more questions. They have the better knowledge. Anything else?
That's us.
You don't have to start the truck yet, Matt. And that's the way it is. We learn that way. Women asked all the questions. Behind any successful man, any man, whether he be the President of the United States, the governor, not in Oklahoma anymore, but whatever position, a CEO of a large company, he's got a woman right there with him that is his assistant, that is directing, guiding him, counseling him, asking all the questions. Because guys don't ask questions. Most guys will drive 243 miles down the highway, right past the sign that says, I think that was the exit. And the women will say, well, why didn't you stop and ask? Our ego, the way we're raised, our ego would not let us stop and take 5 minutes to ask. That's why we're jerks. Well, I'm sorry. Some of you are saying, Some of you are saying, not my man, no, my man. Think about that for just a minute. Are men jerks in that way? I've traveled all my life. I got lucky. I got tired of going in circles, so I learned to stop and ask directions. I grew up with 7 sisters. And 1 brother. And he's a nice guy. They made sure of that. I have a twin sister and a baby sister. The rest of them were a lot older than me and bullies. I'm sure they were mean. Yes, they used to try to make us be gentlemen, to step out of our comfort zone and be what they thought was right. Were we always there? My brother's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in your life. Just a nice, good guy. And then along come me. So hard-headed, I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to listen. The old saying, if you listen, you learn. That is so true. For the women as well as the men. But the men think that it's our ego. Well, if I listen to her, what's that doing to my manhood here? What that's doing to your manhood, dummy, is letting you be a better man. It's not challenging. Listen to the ladies. Grow with that. I don't know how many of you have...
Can I take you to work with me?
Huh? What?
I said, can I take you to work with me?
Not without a gun.
I work with a bunch of men.
Huh?
I work with a bunch of men.
Like I said, not without a gun.
That's how they think, yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
what environment different people grew up in. I mean, I know a girl from Tulsa, Oklahoma. She grew up with 3 brothers and her. She is so much like a man. You can go anywhere with her and you can say, was that the exit? I don't know. Do you want to look at the map and see? You're not going to ask any questions? No. I'll bet you grew up with a bunch of brothers, didn't you? Did you have a sister? No. And that's that male ego again. She's too scared to ask anything, so she's worried about that. And, you know, just ask. Be yourselves. Be enjoyable. And share your feelings with people. If you have a question, I'll come up to Shelly Joe Bob quick and ask her something. Won't I?
Yes,
Why?
because you know I'm smart.
Not because so much that I know she's smart, because I know I'm old and I'm tired. I don't want to waste a lot of time. So I'll just ask and get it over with. No, the guys just, they think it's such an egotistical thing. Now, I'm going to say something that some of you may not like, okay?
Get the truck started, Matt.
When it comes to cheating, a man will deny it forever.
Cheating with kind
I
of
know that.
In a relationship,
cheating.
infidelity.
Yeah, you're right.
And he will deny it forever. And then he will finally say, okay, you're right, I was wrong, I cheated. I'm sorry. Where do we go from here? What do you want to do? You're wondering, why didn't you say this a long time ago, and it would have made this road a lot simpler to travel and the journey more pleasant? Well, I thought you'd get mad. Well, hell, she's mad now. She's mad now. But it will take forever for him to admit to his ego that he was wrong and he cheated. But he will finally do that. If you poke and prod and ask enough, he'll finally make sure he comes across. And why do men lie more than women? Anybody?
I think it's because they think they'll get in trouble and they're trying to push that back as far as they can.
They think they'll get into trouble, and they're trying to take the most pleasant, simplest way out.
And
I'm
they
sorry.
think it will never come out, but it always does.
And the ego thinks, I'm smarter than she is. She'll never catch this. Guess what, Brenda Sella? They do. They do.
Always.
Sorry. Some of this you may not like, but it's very true. Do the women ever admit cheating? Never. 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 Under no circumstances. A woman will never say, I was wrong. I was out of line. I had too much to drink. We smoked too much that night. He was just too pretty. Or whatever. They won't ever admit it. And that's just the structure that they've formed all their lives. It's not a bad thing, not a good thing. It's just a thing. It's just what it is. Is that bad to say that women won't admit it? Does anybody here think of anyone that has ever said, yeah, I went out last night and me and your Bubba. Anybody know of anybody like
If I
that?
ever had the opportunity, you bet I would say it to him.
Yeah.
As revenge.
But by you wanting to say that, you're wanting to hurt.
You got it.
You're not wanting to be truthful. You're wanting to hurt. Are you not?
True.
Okay. But does anybody else know of any woman that's ever admitted any infidelities?
Yeah, to her girlfriends, you bet.
Let me reword this question. Anybody know of any woman that has admitted to their man that they committed infidelity?
It's called open relationship. What's it called?
Once in a while.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's probably an exception to everything you accept.
Any rule
I
you
hate
have,
that
there is an
word.
exception to any rule.
Sure.
Sure there is.
And if you had narcissistic, women can be narcissistic as well.
Oh,
I
yes.
knew one in particular that didn't deny it. She admitted it and told him, if you took better care of me, I wouldn't have to do it. She literally turned the tables on him. So, and he stayed with her and put up with it for a few more years.
I know a guy that lived on the lake, had a locked, secured gate. I mean, you had to know the code and all
T.A.
this to
Jones.
get to his house. Huh?
T.A. Jones.
And,
Woo!
I'm sorry.
Turning red.
yeah. God, it was. No, don't tell it. Anyway, and he told this girl, he said, look, you're married to a friend of mine. I mean, it sounded like an old Conway Twitty song with Linda on my mind. You're married to a friend of mine. I like you, love dancing with you, love singing with you. Excellent duets. But that's where we need to stop. She said, oh, but I've loved you for a long time. How long? I mean, and then it gets so bad. The guy is trying to be the noble guy, trying to do the gentlemanly thing. And then when he gets home one night, this girl has climbed the gate and walked a mile down his driveway and is sitting on his front porch with a bottle of Jack Daniels. I'm here, honey. The guy says, oh God, where's the reverse? And leaves. Was that the gentlemanly thing to do?
Yes.
Was it?
Well, it's better than calling the cops because you had a crazy woman on your porch.
Or getting a gun and shooting a UFO. Unforeseen object. But I thought that was the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Somebody said, man, she was a friend of yours and you left her way out there. I live 20 miles from town. She was drinking and you left her way out there. How could you do that? I thought that was the lesser of the three evils. Now she's mad. She won't ever speak to me again.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty grateful for that.
Yeah.
Does that make me egotistical for being that way? No. Just dodged a bullet there, Marshall Dillon. Thank you. Yes. It's as bad on us guys for being that type of jerk as it is on you women for putting up with us. Women are the ones that have created us and tolerated us. You're disagreeing again.
Yeah, I disagree too.
Haven't you? Are you married?
I am married.
Have you tolerated him, and for how many years?
Yes, but when you say tolerated, you're saying, asking me, do I have another choice?
No. I didn't ask you that. No.
Okay.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
give that
I have
a choice.
tolerated it because he doesn't give a rat's, you know what.
I wouldn't ask you if your choices. I wouldn't get that personal with you. But you tolerated it. And when
That's what
people
everybody tells me. That's right.
hello.
Okay.
And when people tolerate things, what's that tell someone?
That it's okay.
It's all right.
You tolerate that? Yeah, that's okay. Come on, let's go.
You can do it
Yeah,
again.
and that's what they think. If you tolerated it. My older sisters would,
Well, I've done some of that, too.
I started playing in the clubs when I was 15 years old. When I was 12, we went to work. Everybody in the family, out of 9 kids, went to work. I grew up in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Yes. He went to school with my kids.
Oh, really?
He used to come to the house, work out with them, and all that.
Cool.
And at 12 years old, everybody in the family went to work. I would see my older brother out there working with the mechanics and come in so filthy. Mama would heat up water and pour in a number 3 wash tub, and the older girls would get him in his mighty whitey underwear and bars of lava soap and scrub him to get him clean from working on them cabs. So when I turned 12, I'm thinking, I didn't know what I was going to do, but it wasn't that. As we walk in, my dad says, well, you twins are 12 today. What are you going to do for a living? The phone rang. Henrietta cab. I did that for 2 years. I was a dispatcher.
At 12 years old, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I never knew until I started that. My dad was a bootlegger. He says, no, I wasn't. Well, there were certain people that didn't want to be seen going to the liquor stores. So they'd call the cab company. Hey, go by and get us a half a gallon of whatever and deliver it to the house. And he would double the fee on it. I still think I was a bootlegger. And that's what we did. But we had a couple of old guys there, real old. I remember we helped them celebrate their 35th birthday. God, that's old. Twins, Lindy and Lindley Ward. One played the fiddle, the other one played the guitar. And I would sit out there in the evenings, especially in summertime when it's warm and people would walk, and they taught me how to play the guitar. So that's how I got to playing music. At 15, we played at a VFW. Played their 35th birthday party. I made $20 cash. Cash money. I was tickled. I thought, here we go. Look out, Nashville. We're not on the bus yet, but we're going to rent a Ford Falcon. Now, you got to be old to understand that. And we thought I liked that. Well, then I got to seeing this girl. She'd give me rides back and forth wherever we were playing. And I took a ride from another girl one night.
Wow.
I didn't know nothing. Well, no, we're okay. She went and told one of my older sisters. Mary and Irene come and told me, said, boy, come here. I said, yeah, just, no, come here. I said, okay, just, no, come here. My sisters were tall. I mean, they were 5'7", 5'8", big girls. When I graduated high school, I was 5'7" and 135 pounds. So when one of these girls, I knew they could beat me up, so I learned to listen. I walked off with her and I said, what's up? And she said, you took a ride home from the VFW the other night with this other girl? What about Alberta? And I said, well, she was there, but I mean, this other girl, right? She said, no, men don't act that way. If this girl's been giving you a ride home, she'll continue to do that until you tell her otherwise. Well, why do I have to tell her otherwise? Because you're not a jerk. Now think about that. 15 years old. Did I have to tell the girl that? Yes. I had to let her know why I was going somewhere with someone else. And did we have anything? No. But had to let her know that, you know, just be a man about it. If you're out there living like a man, acting like a man, try to be a man. It doesn't hurt. And women will get mad sometimes and just blow up. Won't you?
Yeah, we do.
What's the matter? Nothing. Well, when you shut that door, you had your soda in the door pocket there, and it went over and slapped the guy 2 cars away. I'm thinking that door was slammed a little hard. That's telling me you was a little mad. What's the matter? Oh, nothing.
I'm fine.
Huh?
I'm fine.
I'm fine. Well, would you care to talk about it? What'd I say? Okay, and here's the dumb guy that doesn't have much mental input because we don't ask enough questions. So we're not clairvoyant. We don't know what to think. Do we? Do we pursue that and ask, No, really, honey, what's the matter? Or do we just say, she's mad. We need to let this alone.
You bet. The other way.
Which one do we do? We need to leave that alone, don't we? And let you tell us when you get ready to tell us what's on your mind. A little more communications in relationships helps a lot. Does it matter? Yes. Will it make it a little simpler? Will it make it more pleasant? Yes. If you know how your mate feels, if they will just be forward enough to say, today I'm worried about a job deal at work. I'm probably going to be a butthead, but I'm sorry for the way I'm going to act, okay? Oh, you haven't acted up yet, but you're apologizing beforehand? Yeah, and I'd appreciate it if you did the same thing. Have a good day. Is that good? No. No, you're halfway apologizing before you do something, but you're telling your partner, don't do what I'm doing. That's not good. Apologize for yourself and then shut up and leave it alone. That's why we're jerks. Do you tolerate us being jerks? Yes. Why do you tolerate us being jerks? You love us, don't you?
That's
Even
not
you.
always the only reason.
Huh?
No,
You don't love us?
not anymore.
Sometimes you feel like you're trapped and you can't survive.
And you have no other way out?
They've manipulated your mind to where you don't feel like you can survive without them and that you have to tolerate that behavior.
Sometimes you
survive.
think that's the best game in town. That's your main point of survival. You have no other resources or any other place to go to. No, I mean, what would I be without this partner?
I have a question.
That's where you're shorting yourself.
What if you just want to come home and talk about things and you want them to listen and the man wants to fix it? Even though you don't want to fix, you're just talking about it.
Then I would say, let's talk. You can fix it when we finish talking. You can't fix anything unless you know what it is. You've got to have the input to know anything. You can't fix anything unless you know it. True?
What about when they don't even care to ask what's wrong?
Whoop
They
them and
just
run them
flat
off.
don't care.
Whoop them and run them off.
Well, I've whipped him several times.
Oh my God. Start the truck, man. I'm sorry. I've never heard of a relationship like that, and I'm thankful I haven't.
It's,
I don't mean to be mean,
No, you're not.
because if God would have ever created anything any finer than a woman, he'd have kept it for himself. They're one of the finest assets on the planet. They're the ones that have guided us through anything that we've ever done, through all the I mean, they're so tough and endeavor so much pain. Think about this for a minute. What if the men had the children? Population would be zero. Like my mom had 9 kids.
Oh, sheesh.
I've seen one being born. No, population would be 0. We wouldn't do that. And an ex-mother-in-law of mine, in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, she had kids, and she would go get out of the field hoeing cotton, go into the house, have a child, secure the child, and then go back to the fields and hoe some more cotton. Not without a gun. I mean,
I don't know that I could do that either.
there was
They're a lot
such
tougher.
double toughness there. Nobody could do that. A guy? No. Would still be fighting in the parking
They
lot.
can't have a cold.
Huh?
They can't get a cold without turning into babies.
I had a cold here a while back. I laid in bed for 6 days. Wouldn't talk to but 2 people. Because I didn't like them. The women are the ones that have run the world. From the background, yes. Yes. But you're the ones that have always given us the personal fortitude to get up there and do what we need to do. I think when Shelley told me she was starting a deal called Lemonade Ladies, great. Get the girls step up. It's time. It is time. We've been jerks because you've tolerated it. You permitted us to be. If you come up and tell us you can't do that, guess what? We're going to quit that. I mean, is the guy going to say, no, well, you can't date me anymore then? Who are you going to go? Who are you going to go with? Billy Bob? No. No. A guy will eventually come around to his senses and let the women control what they need to control, which is everything. Y'all control everything.
I agree with that.
You do?
I do. I do. I know I'm the power behind my husband. I know that. I know my strengths.
Mm-hmm.
I know we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for me. Even though he might have done the work, it was me kicking his ass out the door to go to work when he
Let
was
me guess the
halfway drunk.
situation here, may I? And I'm not real intelligent. You handle all the money?
Now I have my own account. He has a joint account that sometimes I get into if I get mad enough.
You're the one that's the driver?
Well,
You
for
push him to get up and
13
go?
years he had no driver's license.
I didn't mean driver's license. I ain't talking about driving a damn car.
Yeah, I am the pusher. Yes, the pusher. What do you want to call it?
You're the one that's pushed him to work.
Yeah.
Get up. Get out of here. Go. Man, can you just leave?
Go
Go
do
to
this.
work?
Yeah.
It might have been that way, but you're the one that's pushed him to do this.
Yeah.
And anything you have is because you.
That's right.
That's a choice you've made.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
I know.
That's right, so she can get out,
Yes.
because I did 27
You've made enough
years.
choices.
I did it.
Mine was 27.
Mine was.
And you've made enough choices on being strong enough, on being the muscles, the power, the driver, and not the car, but the driver behind this relationship. You could surely drive you in life.
Exactly. Without the burden
Sorry.
of that.
Yeah.
It's nothing to be
It's just
sorry
hard
I
when
mean, you're looking at
almost
me kind of
60.
hard, like,
No,
okay.
just listening.
Any other questions?
It's hard on you staying in that situation.
Well, sure.
It's tougher on
Sure.
you staying
That's
in
right.
something like that. And there was a quote on Facebook the other day I shared, and someone asked me, says, you, of all people, really said that? It is better to be alone than to be
Miserable.
miserable in the
Controlled.
wrong relationship.
Yep,
That's right. And there's the woman told me that.
Well, see, I can go, my husband left me after 23 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did, I did not know that I didn't think I'd survive.
No, you were totally
I mean,
flabbergasted.
he had me completely,
browbeat.
down to feeling, like I was worthless for anything, but I was the one who paid the bills. I was the one who, he worked, but I'm the one who handled everything. And mind you, he owes the IRS 10 grand now that he's not married to me anymore, so. But,
And who set that up?
not a thing.
Now, she does taxes, and coincidentally enough,
No, coincidentally enough, I was smart enough to never touch his tax return after we were divorced. I
Understand.
refused.
That's a good idea.
But that's just kind of a joke in there. But he, now, let's see, that was 06, this is 15. I'm getting tired of being alone. I am. But I am so much better off alone than I was ever with him.